Hi, this is Thresdend, and this is part 11 of an ESO High Isle walkthrough. In the previous episode, I'm not sure what we were doing when we left off. I don't see... Okay, so People of Import is the current main story quest. Let me see where the next objective is. It says to go here and find the missing retainers. Uh-oh. I thought those were just NPCs standing there. I didn't know they were enemies. Now it says search the area. Courier Grenier's note to whoever finds this. Ambush. Knights in unmarked livery. No house emblems. They were waiting for us. Tried to fight, but there were too many. Denise got away. She ran south, but two of those murderers chased after her. The rest looted our wagon. Don't understand. Lord Bacaro was sure the road to Castle Navire was safe. Can't hang on much longer. Tell my indecipherable scrawl. Torn cloth. Looks like a bloody cloth. A scrap of frayed cloth torn from a garment. Tracks lead south, away from where it was found. Alright, let's follow the tracks. Alright, looks like I just need to go down to this delve, which I think we've already been in. Breakwater Cave. We're going to go back to Breakwater Cave, apparently.
You want to die?
That Spriggan looked at me funny, so I had to take it out. Okay, so we're going, like, right outside of Breakwater Cave, looks like. Maybe? Yeah, we're gonna have to go into Breakwater Cave. Alright. Alright, now where am I going? To the right? Okay. I did it.
Every day I feel like I understand more about magic than I did before.
Good for you, Ember. Did you get a new ability slot? Why won't my bear get out of the way?
Am I in trouble? Sorry.
No, you're not in trouble. No, don't want the axe. Okay, so this is going to be unlocked at level 7. For now, we'll just leave it alone. Knight Rochelle's orders. Knight Rochelle. Tomorrow morning, a wagon escorted by 2 Society of the Steadfast retainers will travel to Steadfast Manor from the docks at Castle Navire. Take your knights and set up an ambush along the road. You are to kill the 2 retainers, a man named Grenier and a woman named Denise. They have seen things they should not have seen and must be eliminated. Confiscate the wagon's load for use by the Order. Any other spoils are yours to keep, but remember, the retainers are your mission, not the supplies. There are several good spots to conceal your knights between Castle Navire and Steadfast Manor. I'm sure you will pick a suitable site, the Ascendant Magus. Alright, where's Lord Bacaro? Alright, so we gotta leave now. Where is Lord Bacaro? Back at Steadfast Manor, okay. So I need to get to a Wayshrine. Looks like this is the closest Wayshrine. Coral Road. Right, so I'll probably just edit this travel out. I'll see you in just a second. Oh, I thought he was going to start talking, and then he just stood there.
You're back, and alone, I see. I was afraid of something like this. You better speak with Lord Bacaro and let him know what happened to his retainers. He's been anxiously awaiting your return.
You return alone? I take it the news is not good. Grenier and Denise were not just retainers. They were friends. The Steadfast shall miss them, and so shall I. Please, tell me what happened.
Your retainers were killed. I found these orders from the Ascendant Magus.
Grenier and Denise were helping arrange a banquet at Castle Navire. Then they were to collect the supplies and return here. What could they have seen that would cost them their lives? The banquet is just to welcome our royal guests to the island.
Grenier wrote this note before he died. He tried to fight back.
The Ascendant Order. Plundering Steadfast supplies and killing our retainers. Damn. It was brave of Grenier to try to fight back, but foolish. The supplies weren't worth their lives.
We suspect a wealthy noble may be funding the Ascendant Order.
So Lady Arabelle informed me. I'd hesitate to accuse anyone, but perhaps you should join me at Castle Navire. All the nobles of High Isle will be there, and if my retainers did see something at the castle, perhaps you can determine what that was.
All right, I'll meet you at Castle Navire.
Duchess Elea of House Dufort is hosting the banquet. She's decided to go ahead and throw the party, even though our guests of honor are still missing. Go to Castle Navire's courtyard. Introduce yourself when you arrive. Be discreet, please.
Why hold the banquet without the guests of honor?
Duchess Elea wants to project confidence, especially in light of the current situation. Rumors travel swiftly in the archipelago. The people need to believe we have things under control. I expected to pay a ransom and have the delegates back by now.
Yeah, I understand. Lady Arabelle mentioned that some of the nobles opposed the peace talks.
Ridiculous. No one opposes peace. It's just that some of the nobles questioned if this were the right time and place. Duchess Elea, for example, didn't want to bring the mainland's troubles to High Isle. Not without hope our efforts would bear fruit.
Did anyone else feel that way?
Count Leonard of House Mornard enjoys brisk profits by supplying all sides in the war. He doesn't want that to end too abruptly, especially not in a way that makes Elea and House Dufort look good. He detests that she decided to host the talks.
It sounds like House Dufort and House Mornard are rivals.
Rivals and partners. House Mornard built its wealth on trade. They rely on House Dufort ships to carry their goods. But the two families have long vied with each other for primacy. The Mornards resent the fact that the Duforts rule High Isle.
Tell me more about the Society of the Steadfast.
My family has always believed that wealth is meant to foster good works. When the three alliances went to war, I made the decision to do whatever I could to help common folk caught in their violent wake. So I started the Society of the Steadfast.
What does the Society do exactly?
We're not a religious organization per se, but we do take inspiration from the teachings of Standar. We establish healing centers and other works to show compassion and mercy to those touched by this terrible war. Soldiers and commoners both.
And you do that here on High Isle?
We're a small society that mostly works near the battlefields of Cyrodiil. I did turn a portion of my estate on High Isle into a healing center. We bring the badly wounded here to recuperate. The peace talks naturally grew out of our other efforts.
All right, I apologize if I had listened to him say that before and it was a duplicate. I wasn't sure if we had heard it before. Here's Arabelle Davaux.
It's a shame the Ascendant Order got to Lord Bacaro's retainers before you could.
Yeah.
What could they have seen that warranted their deaths? Perhaps we'll learn more at Castle Navire, although I'm certainly not in the mood for a party.
Lord Bacaro said several nobles will be in attendance.
And our missing guests of honor will no doubt be the main topic of discussion. This is a chance to listen, as well as ask questions. Make sure you speak to Elea Dufort, Demar Dufort, and John Menard. They'll be the most important nobles present.
Do you suspect them?
Until we know more, I suspect everybody. But if any of the nobles are funding the Ascendant Order, I think it likely that it's one of the grand families of High Isle. That means House Dufort or House Menard. Either way, we'll know more soon.
Who are Elea Dufort, Demard Dufort, and Jean Menard?
Elea is the Duchess of House Dufort, and nominal ruler of High Isle. Demard is her brother and a count. John Menard is the highest-ranking noble of House Menard, currently on High Isle. He's Count Leonard's cousin, representing house interests here.
Okay. Alright, now let's see where these nobles are. Over here at Castle Navire, there's a volcanic vent on the way, too. If it's active, we'll stop and destroy it. Get a coffer. You know what? I'm going to stop and, if I can get this skill right here. Continuous attack. This will increase my mount speed. Yeah, that's a lot better. I happen to have one skill point that I hadn't spent, so... Alright, here it is, Castle Navire. Pretty impressive.
I heard the daughter is so distraught she's refusing to leave her rooms. So exciting.
Scandalous. No doubt Isobel is beside herself. Poor girls.
What? Oh,
If you want the latest scandal or gossip, you can talk to Remard. Me? I never...
uh-huh, sure you don't.
What brings you to our tourney grounds here at Castle Navire? Oh, never mind that. Have you heard the latest? The Knight Commander has offered her daughter's hand in marriage to the Sapphire tourney winner. Everyone's aghast.
Okay, why is this a scandal?
Well, Aurelia has been the most desirable hand on High Isle for years, but no one thought she'd ever commit to a match. Seems the commander has forced the issue.
Can't the commander's daughter just refuse?
Oh no, that would be a slap in the face to her mother. And Aurelia's such a good girl. More scandal. Her friend Isobel is a participant in the tourney. She's sworn to free Aurelia from her mother's promise. I can't wait to find out what happens.
Thanks. Maybe I could offer my help.
If you help Isobel win the tournament, she could agree to marry Aurelia, then free her from the shortest engagement in history. Delicious!
Okay. I don't think that volcanic vent is active, so I'll just ignore it.
Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll figure something out. I always do.
This is the other companion. Great.
I don't know what I'd do without Isobel. I'm sorry, this isn't the best time. My friend Aurelia has a bit of a problem. Her mother has promised her hand in marriage, and I need to get her out of it. Somehow. Actually, you look quite capable. Would you mind lending me a hand?
And who are you?
Apologies. My name is Isobel Veloise. I'm an aspirant in the Sapphire Tourney, a proving ground for squires looking to join the knightly orders. Aurelia's mother is Knight Commander, and, brashly offered her daughter's hand as a prize.
How are you going to get your friend out of this promise?
Well, normally, aspirants only compete in one of the trials. If I can win all three, the Knight Commander will be compelled to grant a boon of my choosing. I can free Aurelia from her mother's promise. What do you say? Will you be my second?
I'll help you, Isobel.
The Eight must have me in their hearts. My second just left my service, and here I was thinking I'd have to do it alone. All right, there are 3 knightly orders here on the Isle. Let's decide what task to tackle first.
Okay, you mentioned the 3 orders. What are they, and what do they want us to do?
The people of the Sisters take pride in our knights, the same as anywhere in High Rock. The Sapphire Tourney hosts 3 orders: the Iron Knot, the Oaken Order, and the Order of the Albatross.
What do you know about the Order of the Iron Knot?
They're martial warriors and excellent to horse. You might say the Iron Knot is the most traditional of the Sapphire Orders. Our trial will be to find the hilt from a lost sword called Red Heart. It was the blade of the first Duke Dufort.
Where was the sword lost?
Somewhere on these lands, before they belonged to the Duforts. The hilt supposedly had a massive rough-cut ruby in it. Should be easy to spot. My last squire, Burjo, suggested we hit the castle library to get an idea of where to start looking.
Okay, what can you tell me about the Order of the Albatross?
8 above help me. They're artists and sailors, singers, bards, and pirates all. Brave, swashbuckling warriors that make you recite poetry. Ghastly stuff.
Just ghastly. Okay, is our trial a poem?
No, thankfully. Our trial will be to reclaim the gilded loot of Captain Brenvale. The story goes that he went down into the castle crypts years ago, hoping to use song and steel to subdue a spirit. He never returned. Hopefully we'll do better.
Okay, tell me about the Oaken Order.
Oaken Knights tend to be battle mages, conjurers, and support spellcasters. Their power stems from High Isle's strong tradition of druidic magic. Our trial will be to convince an elder to give us a staff, a symbol of their order.
That's it? Do we talk to the mage or fight them?
I'm guessing it won't be that straightforward, but who knows? There's a Wayshrine near the Coral River to the east. I'll meet you there, and we can make for the site of the trial.
Okay, so we gotta figure out which one we're gonna do.
8 above help me. They're artists and sailors, singers, bards, and...
I don't want to do
thankfully,
the poem.
Our trial will be to reclaim the gilded loot of Captain Brenvale. The story goes that they're martial warriors and excellent to horse.
Okay, let's find the
somewhere on
hilt.
These lands before they belonged to the Duforts. The hilt. Let's meet up at the castle library in the Knight's Wing. I've spent many an hour there studying up on monsters, history, and healing. My only complaint is there aren't a lot of novels.
Can we talk about what's going on?
Of course. Drake, I'm sorry. I bet I came on a little strong. I've spent months preparing for the tourney, and now the commander's pronouncement has sent me adrift. I'll be all right. What would you like to know?
What does Drake mean?
Sorry. It's a curse I picked up from my dad. A word from the old druid tongue that's been co-opted for common folk. I sort of grew up here at the castle, and it's a little more acceptable than the curses the dockhands use, so I use it.
Got it. Why are you so eager to help Aurelia?
Aurelia and I grew up together. We've been close since we were very young, and, well, I can't stand the thought of her marrying one of the other aspirants. Especially Morton's. My goodness, what a dreary man.
Does this tourney happen every year?
Nope. The tourney is only called every few years, as schedule and aspirants allow. The commander wants to make sure there are enough people in the mix to make it a challenge. And the orders are only so large on High Isle, as you might imagine.
How does the tourney work?
I'm not sure how Tamsfolk tourneys work, but here, each order sets a challenge. Attempting the challenge for an order marks you in good standing, and each order only chooses 1 or 2 aspirants for knighthood. It's fairly competitive as a result.
Which order do you belong to?
I'm not a knight just yet. That's why I'm in the tourney. I was a squire for years before I came an aspirant. You don't want to know how many stalls I've cleaned. The tourney gives me a chance to prove my worth to the orders, you see.
Which order do you want to join?
That's a handsome question. I wish I had an answer for you. I can see ways that I'd be a good fit for either the Oaken Order or the Iron Knot. Maybe even the Order of the Albatross. That's a problem for Day's End, Isobel, to face.
That's all the questions I have for now, Isobel.
Go on, I'll catch up with you at the castle's library. It's easy to find. Big room, full of books. Can't miss it.
You're going to help us. Oh, the Eight bless you. I am going to have one more go at convincing my mother, excuse me, the Knight Commander, to see reason. Making a promise like that for me? What was she thinking? Have you seen the other aspirants?
Who are the other aspirants?
Ugh, Langley is a bore, Brelinol cares only for coin, and Snag is an oath. And then there's the milksop moribund Mortons. The less said about him, the better.
If they're that bad, why did your mother make this promise?
That's a complicated question. The easy response is that Commander Jorvel never goes back on her word. But it's more than that. The tourney means the world to her, and in recent years, we've had fewer entrants.
She offered you up as a prize to attract interest?
No. She just wants me to be happy. It's expected of noble ladies on High Isle to marry for advantage. Advantage to the ladies, mind. She thinks I'm afraid to take that step and wanted to give me, well, a push.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to say. This is a medieval society. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. But we're going to try to help her. We're going to try to help her get out of this mess. You going to say something to me?
I'm supposed to keep out the riffraff. I have to admit, I'm not quite sure what to make of you. Best move along, stranger.
All right, I'm going. Alright, those guys are just silent. So there's the library, and there's the castle. I'll go on to the library first.
Not much longer now.
Hello. If you're looking for the Knight Commander, the office is just down the hall.
Okay. I'm looking for the library. Is the library here?
There you are. Let's see if we can unearth the past, shall we? People left books open all over the place. How rude.
Do I need to read that book? No, I need to read these. Mad Baron Dinsil, Part the First. Even the finest families contain a bad seed or two. In the case of the storied Duchy of Dufort, It was many generations ago that the heir to the noble line was a fellow by the name of Densil. His cruel reign as the head of House Dufort is remembered to this day, despite the best efforts of House scholars to erase it. Even now, the cottagers around Castle Navire scare their children into obedience, with the threat that, quote, the Mad Baron will get your little fingers if they don't behave. This stems from the legend that Baron Densil would sever the fingers of anyone who displeased him. The tradition goes that he started with the smallest finger and worked his way up from there. When asked why, he said that the offender retained use of their hands, thus they could serve the house, but the missing digit, or digits for repeat offenders, was a reminder of their subservience. Just a few years ago, a trove of very small bones, most likely finger bones, were found buried on the grounds of Castle Navire. Though this does not give truth to the legend, it does lend it credence. The depravity, cruelty, and depredations of this spectacularly terrible man make us glad that our current house leaders have progressed from such barbarous punishments.
What was that one about? I found something about crop rotation. Exciting.
Mad Baron Densil Part the Third. So this one was Part 1. Where's the second part? Mad Baron Densil Part the Second. As a youth, the Mad Baron Densil was one of 4 children sired by the 3rd Baron Dufort, Gethmar, and his lady, Baroness Joanna. Densil's 3 siblings did not survive to adulthood, their deaths clouded in mystery to the current day. It is said that their despicable brother engineered their deaths, though this is pure conjecture. What is known is that the death of her 3rd child was too much for Baroness Joanna, and her mind was shattered. In response, Baron Gethmar had her locked in a tower, where she lived out the rest of her days. Densil reached the age of majority and was officially declared heir to the barony. The death of Baron Gethmar followed just a year later. A rogue arrow buried itself in the Baron's shoulder during a hunting trip, a wound which should not have killed him. Modern historians suspect poison on the barb, but at the time, no evidence of any wrongdoing was discovered. Soon after Densil took the reins of the barony, he dismissed most of the loyal aides and staff, some of who had served the family for generations. All work on the Knight's Wing for the castle, which Gethmar had begun, ceased. And most knights who had often found a warm welcome and good companionship within Castle Navire departed for less disagreeable environments. Densil spent the next several years looting the once overflowing coffers of the barony, taxing his subjects to such an extent that they fled to other fiefdoms. Across the region, good land lay fallow. The Mad Baron and his cronies rampaged across the countryside. The few ships that came out of Navire's once proud shipyards were substandard. It was as if his mental state, a cursed whirlpool of anger, self-indulgence, and innate cruelty, were reflected in the quick downturn of this once well-run, prosperous barony and shipbuilding concern. Right, now, I know I found Part the Third. Part the Third, here it is. None alive know why Densil behaved so cruelly. No portraits remain of the 4th Baron of House Dufort, praise the 8, but contemporary reports suggest that his eyes were as black as a wood elf's, but flat and cold. Having wiped out his treasury within 2 years of taking over, Baron Densil set his sights on finding a wealthy bride. The Dufort name attracted an ambitious and very wealthy merchant, and he agreed to offer up his eldest daughter in marriage, the Dufort title in exchange for her extensive dowry. The two were married by proxy, and Baroness Helena arrived at the castle to meet her husband for the first time. It was said she was a woman of plain looks and extreme intellect. The day she arrived at the castle, Helena insisted on meeting the Dowager Joanna. Despite the harsh conditions, Densil's old mother yet lived in the tower. Densil took his new bride to meet her mother-in-law. No one knows exactly what happened during this encounter. The new Baroness later said that upon seeing Densil, his mother leaped from her squalid bed and issued a horrific screech. She grabbed her son with uncanny strength and flung both herself and her soulless surviving child out the tower window. They plunged to their deaths. Baroness Helena remained at Castle Navire, a cousin of the Dufort line. Sinvel was decreed the 5th Baron. No one was particularly surprised when the widowed Baroness married the 5th Baron a month or so later. Since that union, the barony has prospered and was promoted to a duchy after the conclusion of Rancer's War. Whatever curse struck the Mad Baron and House Dufort has luckily appeared to have died with him.
This makes no sense at all. Shorebirds of the Sisters should be shelved right here. Who in the world would have moved it?
I don't know.
Well, Duchess Elea has rather neglected the castle's library, if you ask me. There were more books here back in her grandfather's day.
It looks like there's plenty to me. A History of Shipbuilding, Volume 1 of 27. The folk of the Sisters Archipelago have been building ships large and small for generations. In the modern age, vessels from the Dufort shipyards can be found in every navy afloat. They rank among the finest craft to ply the waves. So where can we trace the origin of this maritime industry? What can we do to further our understanding of shipbuilding and our collective heritage? Join me, gentle reader, as I hoist the sails on this fascinating tale. Let's begin at the beginning. What is wood? Cast your eyes to the western shores. The land around Castle Navire has provided the trees for shipbuilding from time beyond counting. Long before there was a house Dufort, the sturdy limbs, those mighty branches, were the bedrock upon which fleets of craft were built. Consider the grain of the wood itself, which creates a beautiful and pleasing form upon which to base our fortunes. The wood of High Isle is uniquely suited to shipbuilding. Its cork oak and other varieties of timber are strong and watertight. Scholars have theorized that perhaps our druidic forebears may have even influenced the growth of these trees to be especially well suited to watercraft, but further study is required. The Battle of Meadow Fort. From The History of House Dufort by Kiera Metric, House Historian and Chronicler. That was my phone going off, sorry. The final battle took place at what was then known as the Meadow Fort, a smaller holding built by Arabelle, later the first Baron Dufort, in the old stone wood. The battle started at dawn and went without surcease until sunset. Arabelle's famed sword, Redheart, was broken during the last hour of the battle. Despite this, the great warrior defeated the dread sorcerer Felvor by hurling the blade and driving it through the evil one's black heart. Arabelle lost his hand from the wounds suffered in the battle, and subsequently became known as Arabelle Handless until he was elevated to a barony. Then he was known as Baron Handless, maybe? It was said that he had the blade of his greatsword melted down and crafted into a hand to replace the one he'd lost. Many of his subjects attested to his irritability and were bruised by that very hand. Years later, the Duke replaced his ancient hold with the mighty Castle Navire to the west. It stands to this day, a place of great renown and worthy of such an illustrious family. The hilt of Redheart was never found. The small hold has long been overgrown. It stands as a mute testament to events that shaped the very nature of High Isle. Alright, we gotta find this guy's corpse, because that's probably where the hilt is.
Find anything promising? Let's chat. The book was already open. I bet my old second Burjo offered the same advice he gave me to aspirant Langley. Drake!
I think it had a clue about Redheart. Old Stone Woods?
Let's see. You're right. Looks like the Duforts had a holdfast there, before they became nobles. Oh wait! I know this place. It's an old ruin off to the east. Arabelle and I used to pretend it was a witch's lair when we were young.
You knew about this place? Why did we need to look it up in a book?
Well, in my defense, I didn't know it was owned by the Duforts when we played there as kids. We also didn't go looking for knightly relics, which now I wish we had.
Yeah, right on. Fair enough. How do we get to the ruin?
There aren't really roads back there, but I remember a nice wide path we can take. I'll mark your map.
Good.
Maybe if we hurry, we can beat Burjo and Langley to the ruin.
Sounds good. I'll meet you there.
I'll see you there. I'm hoping we can beat the other aspirants to the hilt.
Why are we looking for a hilt? Didn't you say the Iron Knot valued martial skill?
Each of the captains have their own view on how to earn honor. I've heard stories that the Iron Knot's captain, Orlfeth, has slain trolls twice her size. So just swinging a sword won't impress her. She wants warriors that can think as well as fight.
Does she hide this hilt out there for every tourney?
That's a funny thought. I don't think so, but we can ask her. The hilt itself is classic Iron Knot. A historic trophy from a mighty warrior who fell in single combat at a crucial battle, and changed history with his blade.
Okay. I'm not sure if I want to go there yet. I might want to enter the castle and continue with the main story first. Let's see how far away the Dufort ruin is. Really far away. Okay, so we're not going to go there yet. Let's go to Castle Navire. Alright.
Might as well enjoy ourselves while we're here. Do you still prefer a Russafeld red, my lady?
That would be delightful. Thank you, Bacaro. Introduce yourself to the nobility, my friend. And remember, even the smallest detail could be the clue we seek.
Okay.
It's an honor to be invited to one of Duchess Elea's parties. I've heard she only allows members of her own family into the castle. Most people never set foot inside the walls, let alone rub shoulders with the highest nobility of High Isle.
Okay. Who else can I talk to?
Forgive Navire for saying so, but you seem out of place in this company. This one is too. Navire is a merchant of modest success, not a great lord or lady.
Okay.
Have you felt the tremors over the last few days? The volcano on Ifalon is waking up. I can't understand why the locals haven't done something about that.
You're not gonna talk to me either?
Lord Bacaro has arrived, Duchess. He brought that Lady Arabelle with him.
You gonna say anything in response? You're just a High Isle noble. Where is the Duchess? Oh, they must be up here. This is the Duchess, I guess? Duchess Elea Dufort.
Welcome to Castle Navire. You're Lady Arabelle's assistant, yes? Then you know these festivities are only for appearances' sake. Our guests of honor have yet to be found. Rest assured, I intend to bring the radicals behind this plot to justice.
You're aware of the Ascendant Order?
I'm aware of most things that happen on my isle. It's true we didn't connect reports of mysterious knights to the Ascendant Order until recently, but now that we know they are one and the same, we'll quickly bring them to heel.
Is there anything you can tell me that might help us find the Alliance leaders?
I suggest that you and Lady Arabelle leave this matter in our hands. My knights have already pinpointed several sites where the Ascendant Order gathers. They are scouring High Isle for our missing guests even as we speak.
We have reason to believe a High Isle noble may be funding the Ascendant Order.
Which is why I prefer to handle this discreetly. I suspect House Mornard is behind this. They profit greatly from the war, and they still hold a grudge against my house for overshadowing their own. Frankly, I put nothing past them.
Tell me more about House Mornard.
One should be careful when talking about one's neighbors. Still, Count Mornard's dislike of my family is well known. Years ago, his father backed King Ronser of Shornhelm in his dispute with High King Emmerich. Emmerich did not forget it.
What did High King Emmerich do?
He punished Avric Mornard by stripping him of his ducal title and granting it to my father instead. The Mornards remain counts, with holdings and estates throughout the Isles. But the Duforts are now the Dukes of the Sisters.
Okay, tell me more about House Dufort.
My family builds ships. Our shipyards construct the finest vessels to ply the western seas. In reward for our service, High King Emmerich granted us the Duchy of Sisters. We rule with care and compassion for all, even the Mornards.
Alright. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe her. I mean, makes sense that the other guild that's providing weapons for the war would not want the war to stop, but we'll see.
You're working with that would-be investigator. I can't imagine what you think you'll find here. You should be out beating the bushes for those bandit knights, or scouring the back alleys of Gonfalon Bay. You'll find plenty of criminals there.
Would-be investigator? Lady Arabelle has had a distinguished career.
Had being the operative word. Clearly her best days are behind her. I cannot fathom her methods. The delegates are lost, so what's the point of distressing the Duchess's guests with incessant questions? Besides, we have the situation well in hand.
How do you have it in hand, exactly?
I have instructed our house knights to question known malcontents all over the island and offer hefty sums of gold for information. Criminals are quick to turn on their own for a small handout. This so-called Ascendant Order can't hide forever.
Okay. Alright, that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we will continue to investigate the party and see if we can figure out who is funding the Ascendant Order. Thanks for watching. See you next time.